Welcome to the Holly Jolly Life. I'm here in my humble home kitchen. The point of this channel is so that I can make all my daughter's favorite recipes, and whenever they want to know how to make it, they can just watch it on TV. I'm a homeschool mom, and some of these recipes they make with me in the kitchen, and I'm also a little bit of an introvert, so I like to be by myself. And I like to cook whenever I just like to cook. And some of these recipes are so that they can have them, so that they can know how to make them. Some of them are for them to follow the instructions to see how well they do that. Most of them are for nostalgia purposes. I'm not gonna be around for forever, so this is kind of like my family recipe box, and that's what I'm gonna be using it for. Also, before COVID happened, we used to do church potlucks, and people would be like, "This is so good, how do you make it?" And well, it's just a lot easier to tell you that there's a recipe on YouTube than there is for me to sit there and tell you whenever, probably giving you way more detail than you want to know anyway. So today I'm going to be making cinnamon rolls, and this is not my recipe. It's a recipe I found online. But do you ever find a recipe and you really like it, so you keep making it, you keep making it, you keep making it, everybody keeps asking you to make it, and you kind of adapt it to your, make it your own? That's kind of what I did with this one. But if I have the recipe and I know who made it, you should just totally give the person credit for it, because that's the right thing to do. And I got this from Sally's Baking Addiction. Yeah, Sally's Baking Addiction, easy cinnamon rolls from scratch, and you can find her on Instagram. I don't know her, I just found her on Instagram. And if you don't know me, then you just found me on YouTube, I guess. Anyway, so I'm going to be making these, and what I did was I doubled her recipe because there's 7 of us, and usually whenever I make these, I make them to share. Like, we're going over to my mother-in-law's later, and I'm going to make these to share with them. It calls for instant yeast, and I doubled the recipe, and I don't know if you can see that, and this has been well loved because I've spilled lots of things on it. I'm not as clean as I would like to be whenever I'm cooking. I just throw stuff. And I think that's how you know it's a good recipe, though. I mean, if you've used it and you've spilled stuff on it, then it's a good one. Unless you're a neat freak, which I am not. And I think that this is showing you a mirror image of this, because it is. So it's doing you no good. Maybe I'll edit that out. Maybe I'll just keep it, I don't know. Anyway, so here we go. 5½ cups of flour. I'm gonna turn you to my stand mixer, maybe. There we go. Nope, further away is the win. Okay, there we go. We move together. There we go. 5½ cups of flour, and everything falls. 5. 1. 2. 3. 4. 5, and then I need to get a half. And a half. Now, whenever I doubled this recipe, it said that I needed 4½ teaspoons of yeast. But I tried it like that and decided I really liked it with 5 teaspoons of yeast better, so I do 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you're making it overnight, these can stay in the fridge overnight. If you're making it overnight and you use 4, it tastes just the same. If you're making it like I am, I'm fixing to make it right now and use it. Serve it, I mean. I'm just gonna go ahead and bake them is what I'm trying. Oh my goodness, I'm trying to say that I'm just fixing to bake them. If you're gonna do it like that, go ahead and put, I think, go ahead and put the extra ½ teaspoon of yeast, because it makes the dough softer, a little bit softer, a little bit more of a stretch to it than it does if you, it seems like they've been sitting for longer, like they've been rising for longer whenever you add that little bit of extra. And this is instant yeast, and I just keep it in this little container. And the container doesn't smell like pasta anymore, don't worry about that. And I keep it in the freezer so it stays good for longer. That's my pro tip for you. Just went ahead and stuck it back in there so I didn't forget. And we need 1 teaspoon of salt. I always put the salt on the other side of the bowl from where I put the yeast, because it feels like you should. And that is it for the dry ingredients. 5½ cups of flour. Oh wait, no, it's not. I lied. ½ cup of sugar. Be right back. It was not prepared. ½ cup of sugar. Okay, mix that up now. Okay, so we are going to work on our wet ingredients now. Okay, so I got the butter, 6 tablespoons of butter in there. Now I have to do a ½ cup of water and 1 cup of milk. And I'm gonna heat all this together. I just put my ½ cup of water in there, over there at the sink. I know you didn't see it. It'll be fine. It's there. I promise. It's right there. See? It's right there. Okay. This would be so satisfying if this ended up being exactly a whole cup of milk. Almost. Okay. So, who wants to drink this? Me. There we go. There's like a lot of kids up in here. Okay, so I am going to heat this up, and then I'll show you what it's like whenever it is done being heated, and I'm putting it back in the bowl. I forgot a couple of things, so I had to go over there and get them. Okay, so I'm back in my bowl. The butter and milk and water have all been heated up quite nicely, if I do say so myself. It's pretty warm. You are going to see steam whenever I pour this in there. Ready? And here goes. Okay, I'm going to get that mixing. Man, I don't know what it is about butter and milk that smells so good together. Okay, now, moving that out of the way. This is my little sad pan. Don't worry about it, it's fine. And, don't need these anymore. On the table behind me. Just gonna mix up some eggs. I do not like just throwing eggs up in a dish, baking with eggs without them being mixed. That is icky to me. Because I have eaten dishes before, that desserts that people have made, and they had pieces of egg white all up in there, and that really grosses me out. So does eggshells, and make sure I don't drop any of that in here. Okay, now I have to wash my hands because that's yucky gross. Hurry up and get the egg in there before that gets all mixed up. Too good. That just makes me feel so much better. Good till the last drop. Okay, there we go. And stick that back down in there and turn it on without going too crazy with it. It just kind of looks like a little heart to me. Like I'm just making something so happy and delicious. Okay, and I just let that go for a little bit, and the bowl's pretty warm. Okay. That's what you want to see. That's exactly how it's supposed to look. So I'm very happy with it. This is going to have to sit for 10 minutes. And then we will be able to roll it out in 2 sections, since this is a double recipe. We're going to roll it out in 2 sections. Roll it out in 2 sections. Okay, one at a time. Put the cinnamon and sugar. I'm going to have to show you how to mix up the cinnamon and sugar. Put the cinnamon and sugar on there, butter, cinnamon, sugar, and then we will roll them up and cut them, and then let them sit for an hour before we bake them. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to cover this up, but I'm going to do it on time lapse because that's how we roll. Okay, so for the cinnamon rolls, I forgot to tell you something. You're supposed to spray the bowl. You're supposed to put it in another bowl, and you're supposed to spray the bowl with oil or cover it in oil or whatever. So what I do is I just scrape down the sides and then spray oil. I have like a little oil sprayer, and that's what I was doing in the time lapse, is I was scraping down the sides of the bowl and spraying oil on the sides of the bowl to make sure that the dough is covered in oil, and it has to sit like that for 10 minutes. It has to be covered in rice for 10 minutes, and then you can roll it out. And so that's what I forgot to tell you all about. And then now I'm going to show you how to mix up the sugar. So I told you that the sugar cinnamon mixture, I told y'all that I do mine a little bit differently, because I do. Their recipe calls for a single recipe, 3 tablespoons of unsalted butter. I use 6 because I double it. That's the same. 1 tablespoon of ground cinnamon, and a 1/4 cup of sugar. Well, I use a cup of sugar, about a cup of sugar, and I use 3 tablespoons of cinnamon. So that's just the difference. Where it could be a 1/2 cup of sugar and 2 tablespoons of cinnamon, I just go for a cup and 3 tablespoons. I think that I make a little bit more. I think I stretch mine a little bit further, so that's why. That's why everybody does stuff their own, what works for them. Do what works for you. Like whenever you're cooking in the kitchen, it's your house, it's your meal. Do what works for you. That's what I do. Okay, here we go. I'm used to holding the phone with my left hand. I just got this tripod for Christmas, which is why I'm making videos again. And because people keep telling me, you should make videos again. My family anyway. Okay, here we go. 1/3 cup of sugar. Another 1/3 cup of sugar. And another 1/3 cup of sugar. And the reason I did that is with the thirds instead of just grabbing a 1 cup measuring cup is to show that for every 1/3 cup, you're putting a tablespoon of cinnamon. Just for the visual. 2, 3, that is a lot of cinnamon. Cinnamon's supposed to be good for regulating blood sugar. You're gonna need all the help you can get with that whenever you're eating these cinnamon rolls, because they got a lot of sugar. There we go. I'm just gonna hold this up here. I'm just gonna mix it up. I don't know if you can see the smoke, but it's making some cinnamon smoke. That's what I call it. It's just the dust flying everywhere from the cinnamon. It smells great. My husband likes nutmeg in his cinnamon rolls. I don't care for nutmeg. I just don't like it. If you do, that's cool. You can like what you like. Everybody's different. My kids are making fun of me in the living room. It's awesome. But they're doing a great job being quiet. Playing some old school Nintendo. Okay, so I probably mixed that up longer than I even needed to. You can see how dark it is. I wonder if y'all can see. Can you see that every time I move this, it's poofing up some cinnamon? Probably not supposed to inhale that, but it smells good. I'm gonna go ahead and mix up the icing because I still got a little bit before I can roll out my cinnamon rolls. So for the icing, this calls for one batch of cinnamon rolls. We're making 2. It calls for 1 cup of this powdered sugar. This is from Aldi. Half a teaspoon of vanilla. I don't have any vanilla. And 2 to 3 tablespoons of strong brewed coffee or milk. I've never made it with coffee. I don't know that I would care for that. I like coffee, but anyways, but I make it with milk. And it might be good with coffee. I did make it before with like a chocolate syrup recipe that I have, which is kind of like a hot fudge recipe, but I left out the chocolate. And that was really good because it was like buttery and kind of like caramel. I don't know, it was amazing. But anyways, so I'm gonna pour the rest of however much this is. You're just making a glaze, okay? It's easy, easy peasy lemon squeezy. All right, and every last little tiny bit, except for that piece that I just dropped on the table. I need an apron, I do. That is a need. I gave my daughter mine because I'm a very large lady and it was only covering like one, yeah, anyway. Wasn't doing me much good. One half was clean, the other half wasn't, so. Okay, and I'm just gonna put some milk until it looks the right consistency. So there's some milk. You have to measure this with your heart. And the powdered sugar just shrinks. Really? Powdered sugar just shrinks as you're mixing it in. It gets thicker and it just reduces in volume big time. You've probably mixed powdered sugar and milk together before, but if you haven't, then this is of no help to you because I didn't use any measurements and I'm sorry. And I don't have vanilla, and vanilla is pretty necessary for this. It's gonna taste like sugar and milk now. But I mean, you're putting it on cinnamon rolls, so. I'm gonna pretend like this powdered sugar is meant to be on my shirt. It's one with me now. It's my friend. Seriously? This is one of those times that you say, well, I hope this is enough because it's all we have. And it'll be enough. I'll make sure every little cinnamon roll has a little bit. They have to share, you know? Everything has to be equal. They'll be equal. They'll be fine. I got 5 kids. Everything has to be equal all the time. And one that I babysit, and everything has to be equal with her too. I don't want nobody feeling left out. Okay, so there's this. That's what you want. You just want it to be just like that. If I had more powdered sugar and some vanilla, then maybe I would make it a little bit thicker, but it's fine. And my milk back in the fridge, and I'm ready to roll out the cinnamon rolls. Okay, so this is my parchment paper. I got it from Amazon for like 15 bucks, 200 pieces of parchment paper. That's a really good deal. I'm not affiliated. I don't get anything for telling Ellen. I just like to cook. I just like to cook and I like to save money. There's like a lot of people up in here, so. And so I got 2 pieces of parchment paper out. one on the bottom, one for the top. And then I'll use some for the pan in the middle. I mean, in the middle? In a minute. I'll use one for the pan in a minute. That's what I'm trying to say. That is what I'm trying to tell you. I got my pan out. This just came out of the dishwasher. It is very hot. It's an 11 by 15. Very, very hot. Put that down. And I'm gonna get out a piece of parchment paper. Doesn't matter which side you put up or down or whatever. You know what else parchment paper is good for? I do diamond paintings. I don't know if y'all know what diamond paintings are, but they're really fun. They're like, everybody knows what diamond paintings are, right? You get these little tiny things called drills. They kind of look like rhinestones, and you stick them on a canvas that has like an adhesive on there already. Anyway, if you take parchment paper, you can cut it in sections and then work in sections without getting your hand, like without messing up the adhesive of your diamond painting. And it's really great if you're a little bit OCD and want it to be all in like one section and finish one section at a time. Anyway, that's a little random tidbit of information. Okay, so I have my 2 pieces of parchment paper right here, 1 and 2. And my pan is set up right here like so with its parchment paper. Here we go, back over here. What I'm gonna do, and here's the dough. You should probably see that, that's pretty important. The dough rose quite a bit, okay? Just in that 10 minutes, or however long it's been, since I mixed up the cinnamon and the cinnamon sugar and cinnamon, why'd you do this to me? Fell. Anyway, since I mixed up the cinnamon and sugar, and what was the other thing? The icing. Okay, I'm gonna do a little bit of this. That's flour. And this is my way. Not saying it's the right way, it's just the way I do it. I'm just trying to get the top piece. I was trying to do this without making a mess. If you're watching this channel and you hate messes, I'm sorry. At least the food is not affected by the messiness of the chef. I'm cooking with love up in here. Okay. So, this has flour all over it. You can't really see it. This is also fixing to have flour. I mean, it does. You can see it, but I don't like huge chunks of flour on my baked goods. It grosses me out. I know, maybe I'm just being a little bit too picky, but apparently I like huge chunks of flour in my lap and on my floor, though, because I just am not very coordinated. I don't know, maybe you think it's funny. That'd be good. I'm not doing it on purpose. I wish I was. Okay. Here we go. I'm just going to pour this right back in here because I don't need all that much that I poured on there. It kind of seems like I have more in my cup than I started with. Anyways, okay. So this has been good and coated with flour, and that's enough. That's all we need. Now, I'm going to take this. I love this thing. I love it. It's my friend. Okay, cutting this in half. Come on. There we go. Grab my piece that I cut in half. It's supposed to all stay together. Okay. And then I'm going to stick it right here. There we go. I'm going to put a little bit more flour on top. I just let y'all in on a little secret. You know how I keep spilling stuff on myself? Normally I cook in my pajamas so I don't have to worry about ruining my good clothes. Because I don't have an apron. Not a good one anyway. My husband's pretty handy with the sewing machine. He might make me one. That'd be wonderful. Okay. You can use a rolling pin for this. If you're going to use a rolling pin, take off your rings. I'm not going to use a rolling pin, But I'm going to show you why you should take off your rings. This used to be a circle. It's not a circle anymore. I've washed my hands 11 times today. It's fine. Don't worry about germs. It's fine. Okay. This is how I do it. You don't have to do it this way. You can use a rolling pin. You can do it this way and use a rolling pin. However you feel like you need to do it. I didn't melt my butter yet. Here we go. And that is the artisan bread from another video that I'm doing today. It has finished its hour rise and it's waiting for me to put it in a pan. But I'm not ready for that yet. So it's gonna have to wait for me. Which is good because that's a very forgiving recipe. So it can wait and it won't hurt it any. My table's really clean, so you don't have to worry about that. That's just a scratch. All right. It's not going to listen to me no matter how many times I shush it, it's still going to beep. Okay, here I come. Be right back. I gotta get some butter. The butter's melted. I repeat, the butter is melted. It's a little too melted. It's kind of brown. It's fine. It's going to be fine. Nobody cares. The spoon just fell in the pot. Maybe I'm teaching y'all what not to do. I'm gonna repeat my process with my, here we go, rest. Oh, is it? I missed some doo-doo-doo. Okay, and now sound effects help it a lot. My little tripod stand is just covered in flour now, living its best life. This dough is so warm. Ah! I don't want to rip the dough, I just wanted to stretch it. I'm just trying to make this pretty close to the shape of the parchment paper. And I forgot that I was supposed to be explaining stuff because I got lost in thought. Just my norm. Always thinking about something. I don't normally explain what I'm doing whenever I'm doing it. Whenever I'm cooking, because I'm just cooking. Or baking. I guess I'm baking right now. Really the grown-up version of playing with Play-Doh. People can't judge you for it. Does it really matter if they do anyway? If they did judge you for playing with Play-Doh, would it matter? Who really cares what people think? We are going to try to make sure, I really want this to be even. I don't want any of these little cinnamon rolls to be left out. There we go. Sugar time. That is too much sugar for those cinnamon rolls. Make yours with less. That's okay. Maybe you don't want to use sugar at all. Maybe you want to use honey. I've never tried it. If you use honey, let me know if it was good. Who knows? What else could you use? Maybe Splenda or something. I don't know. Probably good. Okay. And here is my other piece. And I need to stick it somewhere. I had a piece of parchment paper in between it and folded it over so I could get it out of the way. Because I had just sat it in my pan, but I'm ready to fill my pan now. So, you know, running out of room and stuff. Okay, here we go. Rolling, rolling, rolling. Rolling, rolling, rolling. Go. Can you see what I'm doing? I sprayed my phone with alcohol before I started doing this so that I wouldn't have any germs on it. You know, I was gonna have to be touching my phone while I was cooking and baking, and you know, germs, gross. There we go. Get over, out of the way. Hey, Munchkin.
Oh, are you videoing?
Yes, ma'am.
Sorry.
You're fine. I'm gonna do this because I like to stretch it. So I just cut it in half so that I can stretch it out. I just want them to go as far as they can go. Like, they're gonna rise a lot. So I like to get as many out of this recipe as I can. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Daisy, we have a kitten situation.
The kids are getting a little food.
Never a dull moment. These kids are trying to be so good. They're trying to be so quiet. I was making videos. Let's be quiet. Watch them later and make recipes from them. They're randomly laughing at me. That's okay. Oh, listen to the beautifulness. There we go. These are going to spread out a lot. Hey baby, what's up? You're fine. Moving on to the next one. I really like parchment paper. It's so convenient. You're fine. My kids are having to walk through the kitchen. They're worried about disturbing me, so they're tiptoeing, and it's hilarious. There we go. And that is going to be so nice and buttery whenever I have to cut these, which is not the goal. There we go, that's fine. Okay, ready for some more sugar. And if you just made one batch, then you would only have to do this once. But I'm making a double batch. Oh, cinnamon rolls, more happiness. I guess that was weird because my kids are laughing. Dog is barking. I have the windows open in January because it's hot in here. That's cinnamon.
Hi, how are you? Oh, it's so cinnamony. Cinnamon goodness. Mm-hmm.
Rolling, rolling, rolling. You gonna do me like that? Excuse me, the curry comb. This is not curry comb. It's a Barbie movie thing. Okay. Okay, that one probably has more butter. This one probably has more sugar. I was trying so hard to make it fair. Hashtag Mama tried. Okay. There we go. There's the other ones. See how they're already growing? They grow so fast. They grow up so fast. They're little babies. Okay. That one's too short. It'll be fine though. That one's really big. It's fine. Okay. I don't think I stretched these out as much as I stretched the other ones, but there's not that much room in the pan. I mean, where are they gonna go? They're gonna go in our bellies, that's where. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and start moving these. Oh, see, that one does have more sugar. I know it. I could hear it. I'm pretty sure you heard it too. Come on, stick together. Oh, okay. Oh, it's like a sugar poop. Give it to you. Now you have some more sugar. These can be for my husband because he says I put too much sugar. And these can be for the kids because, you know, they like sugar. Oh no. Stay. There you go. Look into the pan. Oh. The sound of sugar falling, the sugar falling. Stick together, man. Keep it together, man. There we go. Open up. Be beautiful. Let everybody see your beautiful cinnamon filling. There we go. See? You're sweet on the inside. It's okay to be yourself. There we go. There we go. Looks like a rose. Oh, where are you gonna go, last little cinnamon roll? I think you want to go right here. Be best buddies with this one. Best buds! Yeah! Best friends! I'm so weird. Okay, go right on top of that. And we're going to leave them for an hour. And this is the rag that was on top of them earlier. And then I am probably going to edit this video and shorten it. And then I will see you back here in an hour after they've risen. Okay, so back to the cinnamon rolls. I have my oven, it's preheating to 375, and the cinnamon rolls have been rising for probably about 2 hours now. And I want to show you what they look like. They've definitely more than doubled in size. As long as they doubled in size, you're good. But if they more than doubled in size, yum-tastic. Those look pretty amazing, and they haven't even been baked yet. So I'm going to put them in the oven. At 375. So I will see you in 25 minutes. Show you what they look like whenever they're baked, and then we'll put our icing on top as soon as they come out of the oven. Look at them, they're beautiful. And there's the artisan bread that I made earlier for another video. And I'm gonna grab the icing. Now, like I said, I usually make more icing than this, but that's fine. Every little cinnamon roll is gonna get some. And this glaze is gonna get flaky because it's going on hot. Oh yeah. That is looking yummy. So that's how I make my cinnamon rolls. Thank you for watching my channel. Don't forget to make every day a holiday.